You're live. Hi, friends. Okay. Yo, I got a new setup today. And I have a new mic coming. But I haven't tried this yet, so I'm stoked to try it out. Okay, what's up? Happy full moon today in Taurus. I'm going to come on with an energy update for you guys, with the Akashic records, all the good things. If you're in my world, what's up? My name is Stormy Calder. I am a shaman. Adjusting my mic. I am a psychic medium, an Akashic records reader, practitioner, healer, guide, high performance life coach, business coach, personal branding coach, all of the things. I do all the things. I'm severely multi-talented. Hi, sweetheart. Happy to see you in here. Hello to everyone that comes in as well and sees this stream. This is definitely a different experience for me because I've never really streamed from my computer, from my laptop. Hi, Mark. Hi, Carol. Oh my gosh, you guys. I feel like a newbie. I feel like a total beginner right now because this just stepped it up in my mind. I'm like, I have a mic. Not that the lapel mic. Well, the lapel mic, I don't know that always works on my phone. Anyway, there's a thing in my face. I have to figure this out now. But I have a Shure mic coming next week that I'm very excited about. Okay. You're going to watch me dance at this on screen because I don't know if I'm into it or not. I don't usually like things in my frame. Anyway, so energy update. What else do I want to tell you guys? Subscribe, bell for notifications, like the video. I have a cash money meditation, cash infusion meditation for free that I think you're going to dig. That link is in the description below. I'm going to tell you all the things I got going on, okay? Money Recoded, we're starting next week. It is an 8-week live program on reprogramming and rewiring your relationship with money and the energy of money. Really amazing. I'm really, really excited to do this content. I feel like I've really grown up into it in a really great way. And I'm going to be channeling the entire program. So if you're interested in that, the code is moneyhoney at checkout, and the full landing page description. Everything that's in the program is in the description link below. Okay, a couple more things I have going on. You guys know I have 1,000,001 programs. I'm always creating. I'm a constant creator. So the Yeti codes are the 1111 portal workshop training. It's over 4 hours of pre-recorded content. It's a mini course that you can get access to. The 1111 portal is still open, like lingering still now even. And regardless of when you see this video and when the portal actually is, the energies in that program channel that portal. And we do a reprogramming of bringing your higher light body and merging it into the physical body, which is pretty much unheard of in general. Not unheard of, well, kind of. You generally need a partner for it, and it's done in a number of ways that I won't go into on the stream, but I'm able to do it alone. I was able to figure it out myself. And anyway, I'm not going to lie, you guys, I feel so awkward having this mic in front of my face. Like I can't tell if it's just making me nervous. I'm never nervous on these. I'm nervous right now. The presence of this. We'll see how I go. Oh, yeah, you'll have to, Mark, you'll have to let me know on what do I need to do? I don't know. Okay, so I have a Shure mic coming that I'll be plugging into my laptop for my podcast that I'm starting, and I'm very thrilled with my artwork that I might upload for you guys soon. I got a new camera coming. I got all the things. Okay. Anyway, the Yeti codes are all about the 1111 portal. I don't know why I'm so scattered right now, other than I think I'm freaked out that I have a mic in my face. Go ahead and check out the link in the description below. That promo code is already applied at checkout. It's a really, really amazing program to help lift you into the frequencies starting with the beginning of the year so that you actually feel like you can get grounded, get moving, and get running in a very physical way. It's like manifesting the psychic gifts physically, as opposed to more etheric. It's really beautiful, really fun. You're going to love it. Also, on the tail end of that, the Divine Protection Ceremony that I did a couple of weeks ago is a 5-hour mini course program that clears all black magic, blood magic, sex magic out of your energy fields from this life and any other, and through the generational lines. That program, I've gotten so much fucking feedback on. that completely changed people. That, and this is what I've heard from people that have gone through them, that the Divine Protection Ceremony in combination with the Yeti codes is like a power couple program that would be like, I don't know, it's like 11 or 12 hours of educational content and energetic healing and reprogramming. So if you're into that, the links are in the description below. Any of the promo codes are there as well. Embrace it like you would an instrument. How does this sound actually? Because I can't hear it. I'm just speaking. I need to get a monitor. I'm gonna get some red headphones too. I have, oh my gosh, you'll see the things. With all of that, let's go into our themes for the full moon today. Let me just tap into my records. Sounds great. Good. I gotta get a monitor. I'm really excited for all the things, for all the gear upgrades, and for the podcast. You guys have no idea. Okay. What are our themes? What do we most need to know for the full moon today in Taurus and through the weekend? Probably approaching it next week, but specifically elevations around this full moon. Harmony with the physical and the immaterial. This was a large part of the 1111 theme, is like bridging the gap between the astral or the ethereal and the physical plane. And it's kind of the same now. It's like living through your physicality as the method of your spiritual work. So how can you make your life a little bit more comfortable? And comfortable, they're opening up the expansion of that word, comfort, meaning, can you guys explain a little bit more? Comfort is quite literal comfort. How can I open myself up to more revenue streams or sources, or having my money make money? Money is a very Taurus theme. The money code is right on the tail end of that, or money recoded. I mean, getting more comfortable with your environment, cleaning house, making space, making room. I am seeing that there must be a few of you in the audience that are looking to create space for having children, because they're showing me like literally preparing a room. This also could be, for those of you that aren't looking to have children, this could be just like a creative project. Like they're showing me to set aside a room to paint the room. Like, you know, a baby's coming, like you're starting to prepare to call in a soul. The same thing is for creative projects. Like if you want to call in a new project, or you're in the middle of trying to get through a project and finish something really beautiful for yourself that you're going to be presenting out into the world, how can you prepare more, setting time and space aside for that? That could be scheduling time on your plate. It could be adding in explorative time so that you feel more creative. It could be setting your phone on do not disturb for days at a time. They're telling me to feed in through to you guys, if this is helpful for those of you that are creative. The amount of people I have that try to blow up my phone at this point, I either just ignore them or I send them simple voice memos in a few days where I'm like, I am very overwhelmed with my life right now. And I'm in the middle of, and by overwhelmed, I just mean like I'm in the middle of a lot of creative projects. So I probably won't have time to get back to you. And that's what I've been telling people. That's like creating space. Okay. It's not about the emotional overwhelm. It's just about, that's me just communicating to other people. It's about like creative projects take up emotions the way that you would have a relationship with a human. So when I'm handling multiple creative projects, which I am right now, multiple courses for you guys, as well as like actual other like designy creative things. Like I have a hoodie I just designed. You guys will see. I'll pump it out soon. They take up space emotionally. in your heart space, just like a relationship. So you're conversing with those creative projects just like you are a relationship. So if you have a lot of creative projects, consider it a lot of relationships. And then you add human relationships on top of that, it's a lot of relationships. And what they're saying to me right now is to communicate to you guys, it's okay to prioritize your projects over humans. Whoever needs to hear that. The more energy you give humans, the less energy you give your projects. So of course there is a balance to this. Right now I'm in the balance of 99% projects, 1% humans, but in my personal life outside of my clientele. And that's like something you want to think about is the priority of how important are your projects? How much do you want to change your life? How much life do your projects give you? So for example, Money Recoded is getting a lot of my attention right now as a creative project, and it's giving me life. Like it is fueling my ability to wake up in the morning. The hoodie that I designed is for Money Recoded. I will pump it out. You guys will see it the next day or so. And even that hoodie, like I designed like, I don't know, in the span of 2 hours yesterday. And I was just like, this is so good. Like it's so fun. So it's giving me life the way that they're asking me to paint it this way, the way that a really good relationship would. And I'm playing with it the way I would play with emotions in a relationship with a human that I adore. So, okay, can you guys reel me back in? Because I'm not entirely sure where you're going with this. Also, this experience just feels so, for you guys to know, so energetically different with my, I know you can't see. Okay, so I have a different camera. I have a different setup. I've got my laptop, so I don't feel as intimate with you guys as I do with my phone. Normally it's like right up on my phone, so that feels closer to me. And then it's created an entirely different environment. I can see why this would lend itself more to podcasting, but I feel like separate from you guys. So I'm trying to move through that energy. I might move back to my phone in a future stream. We'll see if I can get on board with this. But this is very podcasty. They're giving me another theme right off of that. Okay, so this, like, how do I explain this? Also, my communication has been very jumbled. I think I've been telling you guys this for the last couple of weeks in streams. Like, if you're feeling like it's difficult to communicate, it's very, very normal with the frequency wave patterns of what's going on with that 1111 portal and everything else. It's like, gosh, I don't know if I have the words for a lot of things right now. And you know, the more you're handling an emotional level, the more your nervous system gets triggered into healing. It's almost like the quieter we become, because there's like an interface like this. There's like an interface in between me and the people that I'm trying to communicate with. And really, I'm just like in this little orb of myself, like, okay, I'm in my environment. This feels very separate in between this environment and the next environment. I'm going to go somewhere with this, I promise. You're just watching me navigate the difference of these like interfaces. It's like very interesting at this point. Hi, Kimmy. My projects are of the utmost importance. Yes. Different electronics create different vibes. Yeah, right? Like, okay. So I am being shown because of the energetics of the 1111 portal and this full moon. You are kind of being placed in a bubble. And that bubble is bumping against other people's bubbles and other people's environments. And there's a little bit of a difference of how we're now navigating the energetics of, they're saying dealing with people, but it's, hold on, I'm trying to translate this energy literally in real time. It's like, is that a protective bubble? It's almost like the 1111 portal created more separation in between us and everyone around us. What I'm receiving right now for this Taurus full moon is that there's an emotional separation. So you can feel the difference between your emotions and other people's emotions a little bit more clearly. You might feel like you're in a little bit of a bubble. They are showing like an interface, like like you're in a bubble and that bubble bounces and hits somebody else's bubble or auric field a little bit. And then you kind of get a little bit of communication and then you move to the next auric field and the next environment and the next environment. They're saying that this environment energetically is very, very good for creativity. They're saying of utmost importance that creativity is expressed positively in projects, in moving yourself forward, and determination. That can be business. That can be something else creative. I know I got Mark on here, so music, podcasting, creating businesses, running businesses, finding new ways to create something that could be of service into market, or creating something for the sake and purpose of personal creation. The Akashic records like the getting it to market, because once you share it, it's got a dual purpose. It's not just about creating to create, it's creating to share, which creates more positive karma that comes back through what it is that you create, which creates a positive feedback loop that gives you evidence that creating from your heart space is a good strategy of connection with humans. And that is true. So that would be reinforced. Okay. Akashic records, take me back here. Can we go with some really just concrete themes? Comfort and stability. Emotional processing through emotional safety. That safety is that safety bubble I was just talking about. That creativity bubble where it feels like you're kind of separate from the world. That is different than pre-1111 portal. They are showing me it is just like my streaming setup right now, where it's like me on the phone. I felt like it was connected directly to you guys. So there wasn't like an interface. And I actually feel like I can perform a little more easily with that, because I feel like I'm directly in line with the energetics. Whereas now I can feel the field of difference. So that's going to take some adjusting for me, but they're showing that the energetics before the 1111 portal were very like immediate exchanging with people and environments. And now with the 1111 portal, there's like an interface of protection. There are guards and gates as far as who can get access to your energy and who can't. Those of you that went through any of my portal ceremonies, like for sure that has to do with those portal ceremonies. Because of the amount of protection work that I did with you guys. So that's part of that. All right. The comfort, look for anything that's going to provide you with more comfort in routines, comfort in stability, comfort in new habits, new training for yourself. They're telling me again, I think I said this in a stream last week, but start reading. Okay. Grab Audible, listen to an hour a day of specifically nonfiction or personal development books. But if you like fiction, that's something that's really great to close out an evening with. To have your mind play a little bit and get creative. The purpose of reading, the purpose of listening to audiobooks is to stimulate your mind in a positive direction. So because of the chaos that is happening in this world, it's really easy to get negative. It's easy to get sucked into things that you don't belong in. So to reel in your focus and give yourself a new focus that is going to help you command your day and keep you on target for yourself, to feeling good, to having a good response, to being able to think clearly and concisely, is going to be focusing your mind through mental stimulation, if this resonates with you, by injecting really positive material in the morning. For those of you that are in any of my programs, you can listen to any of my programs like in the background of your life as well, or in the morning, to help stimulate just whatever's going to stimulate like a positive thinking response for you for the day and get your mind and your focus in the right direction. Now, what else for comfort? I keep seeing this human, there's a very human component to this full moon. Okay, so here's what I'm just hearing around relationships. It's like, allow people to be who they are and allow them to be good dance partners. The bad dance partners, you're just going to dance away from. Like, they're showing me a very smooth, very seamless, like, do you want to dance? Yeah. Okay, cool. Like, let's dance together. Whatever that means for any of your relationships, it just means there's like collaborative harmony. It means there's an agreement that is to dance. It's to play. It's to be creative. It's to be present with. And when something is no longer working, or if you're stepping on toes, or if they literally don't want to dance, it's just, okay, no problem. I'm gonna go dance with somebody else. Like, it's like being able to allow your energy to be healthy in a way that's inviting the right partners and letting go of people that don't want to partner with you. And if they keep crashing down your door and saying, I want you to ask me to dance, but I'm not going to dance with you, whatever that means for you, just it's like that. Like, I don't know, that's the energy, like a wave. It's like, okay. Like, move in the other direction, take care of yourself. Don't give it much attention. They're really showing me the vision is like you are in kind of like a ballroom, and it's like, it's a ballroom. People are looking to engage in a healthy way that is creative. If there's anyone in your life that doesn't feel healthy or creative, just stop engaging with them. They will find their own little way out, or they'll come back when they feel better. Okay, or whatever they need to work out will be worked out, but it's no longer your responsibility. They're bringing my attention back again to this idea of the interface, or like a bubble. I don't normally see my arc field this way, but it's being shown this way, where it is like a protection bubble in between you and the world. And there's a lot more emphasis on that protection that allows you to feel safe with emotional distance. Sorry, I'm just trying to interpret. So they're bringing forward some like attachment theory and stuff. And I'm like, okay, guides, like, clear it up so it can come through really clear, because y'all know I've been in my own like little thinking bubble. Probably you guys are retraining your nervous system the way that I am. Whenever you do new activities, like, I've been doing a lot of martial arts, and it's really triggering my spiritual nervous system and my physical nervous system. And I have to slow myself down now. This will probably be relevant for some of you, because there's a point where I've realized, and I'm so emotionally balanced, I can normally speak and communicate very clearly what I'm thinking and feeling. But when my nervous system gets overstimulated and over-triggered, I have noticed, and this is new for me, but I've noticed I'm completely incapable of communicating. Like, I go into an immediate fawn paralysis response. And even last week, there were, this was all martial arts oriented, but there were like a number of times where my partners were trying to communicate to me to see like what needed to happen or what needed to be done. And I was like, I figured it out 30 minutes later, an hour later, but I was like, my nervous system was completely overwhelmed. And that was communicating to my brain a shut-off response, because there was just too much stimuli. And I couldn't handle it. And now that I'm understanding that that's a gear that I have, I'm kind of just telling people ahead that I need more space. So I had a conversation with someone yesterday, and I wouldn't typically categorize myself as an avoidant personality. Like, I have a very secure attachment style, but I need a lot of, I think this will help some of you that are similar to this like me. I do need a lot of autonomy and a lot of space in all of my relationships. So some people think that I could be more avoidant, but I'm not actually avoiding. I'm actually saying I require a tremendous amount of independence and space. And if you threaten that, I will push you out farther on purpose. But that's because that's just like how I run my life in a positive way. But what I've noticed is that when I feel overwhelmed, like I was telling a friend yesterday, I was like, okay, I hold everybody out like a good distance from me because of the amount of healing and energy work that I do. Any of you that are empaths will likely feel this way as well. Like, we kind of just absorb things from people. So the closer people get in emotionally and intimately, the more we're absorbing from them. So I like to keep a really solid emotional field of safety around me, where I'm keeping people at a certain distance, because I don't want to absorb everything ahead of my ability to not intellectualize, but to consciously and mentally agree to whatever that emotional transaction is going to be, because it does have a toll on my work and on my day more than the average person. if I get involved into something a little too emotional too quickly. So when my nervous system is triggered, which is going to happen when you're stepping out into doing anything uncomfortable, anything new, new patterns, new habits of behavior, new physical environments will trigger a new nervous system response. Even if they're positive, anything that's not accustomed to that level of safety or positivity in your subconscious mind will step forward as a nervous system response and will either go into fight, flight, or freeze responses. Now, for me, what I've noticed is when my nervous system is overstimulated, I'm like, normally I keep people out here. I'm like, I need you out there. I need to go way out there. I need a lot of space. Like, don't talk to me for a week. Like, these are my personal relationships. I'm just like, when my nervous system is triggered, I need more time and more space to catch up to what's actually going on for me. And the only one that can regulate me is me. And I have a lot of experience, a lot of evidence in the health of my ability to self-regulate. So I need that space. So these are things to think about, is like, what do you need when you get, we'll say triggered, but it's like your nervous system going into an automatic response that it doesn't know how to handle. The way a lot of people handle things like that, to give you an example, coping mechanisms. It could be emotional outbursts. It could be self-sabotage patterns. It could be addictions. It could be alcohol. It could be eating. Like, food is an easy way to start to satiate and deal with that. It can be creating conflict with people around you to have something to control that feels stable instead of whatever that expansion is. So there's a lot of patience in allowing yourself the grace of space, regardless of your attachment style, when you're shifting gears, when you're adding new stimuli into your environment, when you're changing your routines or your habits. Allow yourself a little mental and emotional interface in between you and the world, a little gap or buffer that allows you to have a little bit more time before you adjust to dealing with other humans. This is also specifically going to be for empaths because, you know, empaths tend to be forwardly very open. Also, a lot of us grew up in environments where we weren't allowed to have boundaries. So we tend to be the humans that are just wildly open up front, and then we set the boundaries later, which may or may not piss people off. I don't know that I mind at this point either way. I'm just like, expect me to be human. I am always changing. I expect you to be always changing and you to be human. So, you know, if you don't know me, don't be upset if you see a part of my personality or character that you didn't expect on the third interaction. Like, it was going to happen. You don't know me. You know, it's like, keep that attitude as you're moving through this world as well with others. If you have not taken the time or space to really get to know someone intimately, and when I say intimately, I don't mean sexually, I mean emotionally and mentally. Like, if you haven't taken the time to get to know them and you are assuming their patterns of behavior, like, what are you assuming those things on? They're coming from your own personal projection of what you think a person who looks like that, who speaks like that, who lives like that should do. And it's not based in reality. You might be accurate a certain percentage of the time just by sheer luck of analyzing human patterns. But this is coming through really loudly from the guides right now as well, is don't pretend to know people you don't know. Like, for example, a lot of people think they know me because I'm so approachable online and because I'm so open and so authentic, but they don't know me. And that's like, how many people are you allowing in your environment to think that, hey, they're breaking it down for me in little bits and pieces here, to think that they know you, which then is to project what they think you're going to do or not do, or elements of your personality. It provides a lot of restrictions on people's personalities when people do this to them. And if those, I hope this makes sense, if those who are in the perspective of not actually knowing that person have not actually taken the time to develop a back and forth effing relationship, like a real relationship with that human, you cannot predict their behavior. You can try, but it's not your responsibility. In your act of trying to predict their behavior, or trying to think that they should do things a certain way, or trying to, I'm hearing criticize, condemn, and manipulate. So I don't know what you guys are dealing with, but I think that's coming up because that's coming up in the fields here. They're pretending to know you by finding things wrong with you, to nitpick, or to tell you where your real potential is, or where they think you can do something better, because they assume that they know you. And it's up to you. I don't know why this is coming through in this way, but it is. It's up to you to sit back and say, does that person actually know me? Have they taken the time to get to know me? How often do I converse with them? Do they actually know what's going on in my life? How long have I known them? There's a degree of relationship that has to do with the security of actually being able to get to know someone. Can you guys break this down more? What's going on? They're telling me at the collective level that because of social media and online dating, I'm being told as well, that there's a reorganization of what we think it's almost like we think we know people, but we're not going through the traditional route to actually get to know people. So, and this is happening at a mass collective level. So there's actually a really big disconnect between the idea of what someone should be based on their branded presentation, whether they're online or what have you, their projection of self, and what societal norms would be based on that judgment. And then, holy shit, this is like, thanks for just exploring with me here. This is like a emotional system breakdown. Like at the collective level, there's a disharmony in the idea of what it is to know someone. So at the collective, so people are assuming that they have friendships, that they have relationships, that they're dating people, what have you, that they think that they know them because they like their stories on Instagram, because they follow the TikTok, because they show up on YouTube lives, or what have you. And it's no discredit to any of it, but there's a disproportionate amount of value placed on the superficial layer of the ego that shows up online. And it's almost like at the collective level, there's a refusal to pierce through the barrier to actually get to know someone. And this is a very, very new construct. So if we were to like rewind 15 years, because social media was just emerging, we were still relying on normal human patterns of behavior to get to know someone. To get to know someone, you actually have to be in their fucking physical presence. Like, you need to get to know them. You need to see like what's going on when they go to order coffee. What happens when they're at a restaurant? Like, how do they walk down the street? Like, you're trying to see who this person is. It's no discredit to online anything. Again, I don't know why this is coming up. It's just a collective read, right? Interface. That's what they're saying to me. The word interface is coming through again. So it's like, it's almost like at the collective emotional space level, what we've done is this generation. I don't completely understand this. It's more than generational. It's multi-generational. Sorry, you guys. I'm trying to digest that. These are actually pretty, they're not hard concepts, but they might take me a week to sit with. The way that humans used to establish relationships was based in frequency, right? Amount of times and the length of time in person. Through the years, that has changed. And now the way that we get to know people is based on what they choose to show us, which is the ego construct that is projected into an online world or system. That system could be a dating site. It could be any of the dating apps. That system could be Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. And there seems to be a massive disruption in what it means to get to know someone. And they're showing me at the collective field that people are lacking the understanding. There's like an emotional volatility and anger response that's very automatic, where people are, they're missing the understanding that people are multifaceted. So they're placing them in one box based on their online perception or persona, which is based on the immediate ego, like the surface ego. And they're accepting that as the core fundamental reality. It's almost like we are reversing. Can you guys explain this a little more clearly to me? It's like we're de-evolving. It's almost like we had the capacity to understand that people were more multifaceted and understand and come to expect to be able to respond in the moment how people show up in relationship, because we expected that we don't know someone without getting to know someone through time and space. Now there's this weird overlay of surface-based expectation at the collective level, where if you stray outside of that projection, that something's wrong with you. This is creating an emotional psychosis at the collective level that I have no idea how we're going to move through as humanity. I don't know. I think we keep doing shit like I do, where you just show up and you try to show as many sides of yourself as you can and try to break the matrix. But it's really like there's a lack of reception at this level of the psyche. Again, this is collective, not necessarily for any of you individually, where it's like people are unable to discern what sort of person they're dealing with, whether it's in front of them, online, or what have you. And there's a rejection of anything that doesn't fit that preconceived egoic projection or mold, or what I would call brand, right? There's a rejection that person would be human. So essentially the psyche of the collective is looking at everyone as less than human. Makes sense, because AI has been stepping in a lot, right, at the psychic level as well. So it's like, if you show anything inconsistent, if you show any behavior that is different than what your behavior should be based on the projection that you've created, the surface level brand that you've created at one way or another, to interface in between you and the outside world, if you do anything that is outside of a predictable behavior, you are now treated as less than human. You're treated as there's something wrong with you. You need to be fixed. You're unreliable. You're unpredictable, and you need to fit into some sort of little box. For example, they're bringing me right back to the attachment theory, which, for you guys to know, all of like the psychological books that we base ideas off of, like these are people's PhD thesis. Like, I could write one. It doesn't make it like cold hard fact in any of these ways. They're just ideas that we try on as a collective, but they're bringing it back to attachment theory. I think because I've been working through certain ideas of this, because I do think certain people would categorize me as being an avoidant or fearful avoidant style. Truly, I am very secure, and I do know how to self-regulate, and I don't typically anxiously attach. I typically add a lot of space in between me and people so that I can reevaluate myself. Now, what they're saying to me is that they're showing me the pressure of the collective on that idea within myself that would challenge me to think that there's something wrong with me, because something has been labeled as avoidant. And what does that mean? And that's a surface level idea that then comes with judgments and expectations of behavior that now I'm pre-categorizing myself in, because I've even thought through the complex. So anyway, this is getting very mentally complicated. You guys are gonna have to loosen this up for me, because it's a little much for me right now. It's like let go of the self-qualifications. Just because you think you are one thing or another thing, even in just the sheer nature of attachment styles psychologically, it doesn't mean you are that. It just means you might resonate with some of those traits in the moment. What they're saying to me is that we at this, I don't know, this time period, like we're taking on things and self-diagnosing in a way that is not helpful to creating a coherent reality. It's almost like at the collective level, they're showing me, I don't watch TikTok, you guys. And for you to know, I don't have heavy social media behaviors. I just post and I get off. So I'm very atypical in that way. And most of my friends are not heavily involved in social media anymore. Which is funny because I had a career in social media for a decade. So I was very involved in it. But like they're showing me even TikTok, like all the psychological ideas and stuff. It's like, it's really nice that we're all talking therapy speak online, and it's really great. And also it's creating a new issue at the collective level where everybody's self-diagnosing and taking on negative traits that don't belong. It's like, actually, you're human. Actually, nobody knows you who doesn't know you. Like, actually, everyone could have an idea of whatever theory is going on right now that's trendy, but it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It literally just means it's an idea to try on, to try to form and mold your consciousness to find and discover who you are. No one truly belongs in a box anywhere. If you are more predictable in your behaviors, and you want to self-identify as specific attachment styles or as specific, I don't know why that's coming for it so much, but it is. As anything, like you can, or if you're seeing a therapist, like, okay, great. But really, this is a very long conversation to say that you are human and nobody gets the pleasure of dictating your behaviors and saying who you are without getting to know you over long extended periods of time. Because even through seasons, we will show different parts of ourselves that may not show up in the next season or may be moved into a different light. Like they're showing me the seasons of my life, depending on when people have stepped in or out, might think I'm very introverted or very extroverted, depending on whether or not, like they're just giving me the example, people that saw me in the season with my ex, like would have seen me as more introverted because he was so extroverted. He made me look introverted, which when people see me separate, they're like, oh my God, you're so extroverted. And I'm like, oh yeah, because you don't have that comparison to the other extrovert. It's just like, they're like, depending on the seasons that you step into and when people come into your life depends on how they perceive you. That perception is not your concrete fundamental reality. It is their perception of that season of you. I know this is getting heady. If I were to label this stream, I would say it's stop feeding into other people's perceptions of you and stop giving them credit to have a say in who you are without getting to know you or over a very, very long period of time through multiple different circumstances. So if someone got to know you over 3 years by bumping into you at a coffee shop, and there's that convenience of always the coffee shop environment, that person doesn't really know you because that person only knows you in one environment. So they only know that facet of you. So does that person also know what it's like to travel with you? You know, for those of you that, I feel like I've heard this, it's like you want to see if your relationship is time test worthy, like go on a trip with that person. Because the second everyone is thrown into the unknown, like their default character traits start coming out, and then you can actually see who these people are. It's kind of like that. Like, I feel like a lot of you also, we could reverse this lens. A lot of you also think that you know people in your lives because you know their predictable behaviors based in one facet of how they interact with you. And that is leaving open an emotional vulnerability and weakness, because if you think you know that person and then they do something very different in a different environment and completely challenge your notion of what you think or believe about them, because all of a sudden they lashed out or hurt you or were talking smack about someone, or I don't know, they're showing me, like, I don't know how literal this is, but they're showing me people that show up one way at work and are pristine or perfect, and they show up in a specific projection of the reality, and then you think that that's who they are because you see them with repetition in that way. And then behind closed doors, they're like doing coke off of bathroom floors. Like, like And they're just showing it that drastic. It's just like, you would never know that person is also that person. Like, you want to be able to understand people in multiple environments. I think the point here is, don't think you know anyone unless you actually know them. Why this is coming through right now? I don't know. I think there's a misconception at the collective level that's creating an issue somewhere, and they're feeding an antidote through to me, but I don't know what it's for. Okay, Akashic Records, what are you saying all of this for? I know it's positive and helpful, but you're learning to say, I want to get to know someone more. You're saying this to your spirit guides before I agree to any proposed soul contracts, before I agree to anything with them. And we're creating interfaces. So it's almost like the collective psyche is being broken down into more conscious agreements. And this might be my group of people more than the full collective. There's more sovereignty over your personal energy. No, there is actually a big shift since the 1111 portal. This is also a collective thing. I'm sure it has to do with the election as well, with just how the energy was kind of split off in that way. But they're showing me little cells, and those little cells are all of us humans, right? And because of how the world is working now, something big shifted in the last week energetically with how the human psychology is interacting. There was a big evolutionary shift. Humanity shifted timelines. And I think we're realizing not everything is as it seems. So what used to be how we broke down predictable behaviors was seeing with frequency, like whether or not someone was in predictable behavior. With the introduction of the internet, social media, television, there is now an active performer or performance. The ego has taken on a new role at the collective level, and individually, it's actually stronger than it was in the past. There's a surface level ego that needs to be cracked before you get into the full human. They're showing me that this is different than it has been in the past. So I don't know, just bear with me here. The ego's always been the ego, but now there's almost like an outer layer of the ego, or there's an outer shell of how we just interface and deal with humans on the internet and everything else in our lives. It's just different. The human psyche is changing a lot, actually. And these are like evolutionary differences, like in mass. And essentially the way that the evolution of the psychology of the mind that I'm understanding psychically is being developed is that we're realizing we need more space in between us and everyone else. And we need more space between us and the world in general, because there are so many brands or positions or just forward facets of who people say they are online, and because it's easy to make things look natural because of the frequency of how often we will see people online or how often we will see that facet, it kind of trips the trust systems in the mind that assume that you've gotten to know someone, because in the past of humanity, in order to have that amount of frequency would have been to actually have gotten to know someone at a physical level. There's something about it's tripping the psychology into automatic thinking that you understand someone when you don't. And I think the collective has just taken on that understanding that something's not working about this. It's almost like the human consciousness was slower than the consciousness, the ability to consciously agree or disagree or understand consciously what has been going on with other humans, with all of these interfacing brands. The ability to consciously understand it, has been slower than the movement of that progression, if that makes sense. So it's almost like evolutionary, in evolutionary development, there's a new need at the collective. And because of the amount that we're all interfacing with the public online, in whatever ways that you are, even if you're just passively participating by watching, you're just sitting in the watcher role. The psychology of humanity is changing to realize that just because there is automatic frequency doesn't mean you know someone, and that there's something about that trigger, that understanding, that has become very present at the psychology of the collective level in the last week. And because of that, there's been like, the 100th monkey, like when 100 people in the collective get access to a certain line of thought, then it automatically goes to the rest of the collective. That's kind of what's happened at an evolutionary level at the psychically, is that there's now a sweeping understanding that there's an interface in between you and the other human. And that interface is like an AI, or is a simulation projection of what that person thinks they need to present and what you think they are, in order to get their needs met in this world. God, I'm really gonna have to sit with this, and I might return with you guys next week with another stream after I've sat with it, because there's been a really big evolutionary shift and a big timeline shift with humanity that is changing how we're interfacing and interacting with each other. That's a simple way of saying it, but it is like this funky roundabout process that I've been taking you guys through in this video. Okay. Akashic Records, what else do we want to say there? Or maybe tie this up. Watch how you're behaving with other people, and watch what you think about them based on what they show you, and observe, is that accurate? Are they actually trustworthy if they say these things or do these things? I don't have concrete examples for you. They're just showing me a computer program, and you guys are rewriting the computer program right now. You're actually re-understanding the computer programming within the mind, and realizing that what has gotten us to here is no longer working moving forward, because we're in a very different mental landscape, psychic landscape at this point. And there's a lot of manipulation going on, not necessarily consciously, kind of, but at the collective level, where we're kind of just realizing, oh, I've been placing my trust in a lot of people based in archaic ways of thinking and being as a human, because not archaic is bad, but archaic is in like just the way that humans think, right? Like in order to see people for this amount of time, to get to know them, you would have had to have actually seen them in multiple environments and gotten to know them. Whereas when we do it online now, you assume you know someone, but you don't really. And that creates a disruption psychologically, and how you think and perceive and trust yourself, and how you trust others. And I think at the collective level, we're working that out by becoming more focused on the self, not to be confused with narcissism. It's just more self-focused, more like self-regulated, emotionally regulated, understanding who you are, and understanding that you don't have all the puzzle pieces, and that we live in a world that's constantly projecting multiple realities at one time, and that the ego is becoming a very, what would I describe it? It's becoming it already kind of is this, but it's like a surface layer social construct that allows you to engage and interface. And that identity is not necessarily who that person is. And for whatever reason, that's being blown up in our faces during this full moon. I think this is a psychological program that's just running at the subconscious level. So I don't know. Chew on that. Alrighty, Akashic Records, you got anything else for me, or are we good? Themes of experimenting. Experiment. Allow things to be different. Allow yourself to mess up. Allow yourself to reroute. Allow other people to mess up. Allow other people to change in front of you. Everything is very malleable. They're just bringing it back to the example of like me trying a new system setup here for the live streams. Like, try something, see how it goes, figure out if you like it. If you don't like it, go back to the other way. If you do like it, keep going. If you want to make adjustments, make adjustments. There's a lot of change, a lot of maneuverability in how we're able to work with our lives and actually make a difference for how we think, feel, act, and behave through the day. We have a lot of control around that. And it's understanding how to work with it without over triggering the nervous system, giving yourself enough space to process and step away when you need to, create new ideas, new understandings of reality, and then adjust as you go. Let me know what resonates. That was like a long-winded like trail of like, where am I going, spirit? But that's what came through. So we'll run with that today. Also, the setup is so interesting because I don't even know how many people are in the room. It's like a totally different setup. Okay, so I might go back to my phone next time. We will see. But thank you for joining me today. I did see your comments. They're on the side here. Alrighty, you guys. Love you so much. If you want to work with me in any of my programs, mini courses, Money Recoded, check out the links in the description below. If you want to work with me one-to-one with mentorship, you can email me below as well. Until next time, I will see you later. Let me know how this sounds in the comments. If you liked the audio, if you like the visual better, what's going on. I'm experimenting. So just looking for feedback on that. And then I'll make some decisions as I kind of move forward. But anyway, lots of love. I'll see you guys soon. Enjoy your day. Enjoy this full moon. And peace.